We'll start. Thank you so much, Rabbi Yosef Yafi, Karel Aloshin, Kavash Proteus, for any time. Thank the Eibush himself. It's supposed to be Mizaka the Rabbah. I can't tell you enough how Limed Musa, you can't replace it, right? I heard B'Shem Rabbi Avigdor Miller. Musa B'Spilas is number one. His bindiness is number two. I had a sickle issue, and I saw the Musa, Sister Spilas is not. So I started trying his bindiness. It's gewaldig. His bindiness, you think into something, you get it straight, you'll lick the Yitzhara. Think a lot. His bindiness. But Rabbi Miller says that number one is Musa B'Spilas. And it certainly is. Your life you spend, unless you learn Musa, you can talk and talk and talk. It's helpful, but it's not the same. You hack yourself a cup not to be afraid. Say it many, many times. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. And while you have the issue in front of you, keep repeating it. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. That's Musa. That's the real Musa. Don't be afraid. With a niggins, repeat. You're coming into a crowd, you feel like repeat again and again. You have to keep. Let me tell you, I used to watch the Bali Musa of Halpern Zatzal. He was always steaming in it. He was always breathing it. He was just finished with a Seder, and he was still going strong. It's like the car, you put the car off, but the engine's still moving. That's the impression I got. The real Bali Musa, they put time and kaiches. Whatever they said, I covered Evelavol, and keep repeating it into your system. And again and again and again, I covered Evelavol. Nothing is like Musa B'Spilas. A little bit here, a little there, whatever you could. The whole day is different.
You think you make up your own words, even?
Make up your own words.
Say those words.
100%. 100%. I heard this once from Gershon. They once had a Bitzel Petterberg had a whole. Forgot. He just repeated the same shtickle that made fun of the problem. And that was it. And they repeated it. Reb Gershon didn't remind. He was so brainwashed in the greatness of Musa B'Spilas that he used it constantly. And because he was able to use it because people are brainwashed. Everyone's brainwashed. We are mostly brainwashed that COVID is your life. COVID is everything. Talking about Orthodox Jews with beards, with Chassidim, with Litvakis. COVID is everything. You want to speak to some Chassidim? You know how many Chassidim we have? I speak to some guys, he just finished, he just did this, this guy, I'm this and you're that. Everybody's into COVID. We are. Without saying anything. That's what you're all about. The way you get dressed. It's a war. To fight that stuff is not easy. It's a lifetime job. I don't know how much you're expected to. But the more you do it, the more menuchas hanefesh you get. The more relaxed. Tachlis achamudais. Is not the gift. They love you, they hate you. Tachlis achamudais. You love me, you hate me, you this, you that. It drives you up a wall. Every move. Yeah, I'm sitting here. If some guys move out in the middle, you got to see the stress of anybody except for Novanik. Half the other could walk out in the middle and they just. I once watched Rebbezer. He was giving a vat. Middle of the vat, a couple of guys walked out. He looked like nothing happened. Like who? He didn't see it. It went over his head. They prided themselves with that. They were always big into that. Like who cares? So what? Didn't mean anything to them. They put a lot of time in kaiches. The Musa B'Spilas, how happy you are. But you got to keep repeating. You got to do it. It's a lifetime job. It's all the time. And you know what it does to you? It lifts you because you're higher. You're not in the garbage can like everyone else is. We're all in the garbage can. I just got to see the Kedusha. Did you see that? And all the eyes are on me, and they're all watching me step up. And I'm going to start making the bracha, and everyone should hear me. You're crazy. Your life, you are a shadow of everyone else. You don't count. You don't have your own. You're not there. You're just a product of people around you. What do they see? What do they think? With the graves that I saw in Vilna, that had pictures of the people in the Jewish cemetery stamped on the grave, or done well, with rosy cheeks. The guy's dead. Sugar, you're dead. You smell a mile. You're still smelling. You're a bunch of bones. You're out of it. Your neshama's up there. It's finished. No. What does he do that for? Who cares? And time and kirchas in the kids. So I want Daddy to be remembered with his rosy cheeks. That he probably never had those, but they put it on, make him look at it. Remember, Shegitz was never killed. He was a next door neighbor of ours. What was his name? Forgot Tim. No, still a guy. Never. He was hit. He was hit by off-duty cop, and he was never dead. And they were talking about it. Relatives or our neighbors. Those days, goyim were all over. We didn't have any Jewish. So, and the way they talked about, this is what I heard. They puts them up, but good. Put on his best suit, and they put on the cheeks. They spent time, a whole job. How are you supposed to die? Die, see what he looks like in death. See? Made him look good. They all feel proud, the brothers. We did a good job on our brother. And he wasn't a normal person, I understand. But what's the difference? I don't think he ever got married. He was never hit. He was killed. And it was over. He wasn't even that old. But the way you die, people are so, it's sickness of covered. What will he say? And he say, what are you wasting your energy on this stuff? Well, the whole world got to see you and know about you and hear about you. You made it to the newspaper. You made it. What'd you make? You say one amen. You made everything. You know what one bracha is? Shemayim. Oh. Now you're talking business. We're real. The belt is unfortunately, it's Achmanis. Achmanis, so much involvement in covered, how it destroys. I'm better, you're better, he's better. What it makes people tight, sugar. Of course you need it, of course, to steig, but it's a different story. How much freedom I feel when I learn Musa Bespilus. When I talk, it's not bad. What I'm saying now, it has benefit. You don't make away with it. But it's second best by far. You keep repeating with a niggin. I'm not afraid of these nutcases. I'm not saying you should talk like that. Some people should. Definitely. These Taitem Meshigayim that are scaring me. Well, who cares what they think? You have to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. Of course, you have to have an ulachaveda. You have to respect people. But it's survival. It's like, without, you don't work on that. It's achmanis. Your whole life. The stress. The bigger you are, the more stress you have. The more covered the bigger, if you're famous, oh boy, you're in trouble. Because now, you have to live up to the reputation they're giving you. Oh, you're a winner. Now you better stay like that. They once gave a compliment about you. Oh boy. They said I'm a Gishmak guy. I better stay Gishmak. They said this is a full house, right? Better stay full or else I'm dead. Yeah, you're all shaken up to hold on to the cover that they gave you. It's covered. That's important, A lot of people. Oh, but it's Zikr Ram. Yeah, we know. It's covered. Yeah, it's Zikr Ram. Okay, but I'm not going to wait with that. But when someone else has a full house, it's also covered Shemayim, you know, the Eibush is getting nachas. So are you happy? No? Why not? It's Zikaram. Oh, but it's me. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Look, you're only human. You can't knock yourself all day. I only say this to make things easier. When you see how ludicrous it is, the cover, the shviga, does not like the way my tie. Should I get you? No, well, put on a different tie. What do you care? That's the truth. What do you have to look for trouble for? But people are so stressed. So stressed and all covered. Everything can be traced. I had someone on the phone recently. I said, should I change your way of thinking? People having aggravation from kids, men, women. And they have real aggravation. They cry on the phone left and right. They're all crying. And first I respect them. I tell them, that's a true father and mother who really care. The kid's not so the way they should be. That's a good, caring parent. I mean that. But you want to get sick? You want to keep crying and go around? They're not the same ever since their son, you know. Since that happened, they're not the same. Oh, the aggravation. Oh, what they expected of him, and look what became of him. Oh, yeah. What's the ay? You know what they'll do to you in Novandik? They'll laugh their heads off. Well, you lost some covered, Nebuch. You know, Rabbi Miller, he once spoke, he said, see, you weren't so much sleep with your kids, you have yourself. Rabbi Kreis used to say, Ich bin auch da Mama's a Kind. I'm also a mother's baby. What do you think I am? I'm also be some yourself. Big Phil, so you're kidding. What about 90% of all that pain is covered. 90%. It's all covered. I think more than 90%. Once another kid, the neighbor's kid's off the derech, you're writing clear. Well, they didn't know what they do. You know, they're messed up. But my kids are good. Where's you covered Shemayim? You're so worried about the Eibush having people that aren't so. It's all covered. Where are you getting all the? Don't get so stressed out. All you're looking for is covered, and covered is stupid. You don't get a mitzvah for that. Now, I will say you do get a mitzvah for that. Before you hear Mendel. How do you get a mitzvah? You have an aggravation, and there's a lot of your Shemayim, and you're concerned, you're worried. Never put yourself down. Tonight, couple, whoever hears me, don't you dare do that. Yitzhara, you had aggravation, and you got hurt. You're going to get Olam Haba for that aggravation. And keep having aggravation until you'll wind up who knows where. I'm joking. I'm just trying to have a little sanity. The Novandik attitude is let's see through it. What's the real cause? Now you're not supposed to make a bitter amidus. It's going to get you depressed. If it's going to make you happy, go for it. If it's going to make you depressed, stay the way you are. I am panim l'Torah. For every inch of aggravation that you have, Hashem will reward you. The Shem Emuna brings down in the Gemara Tainus that Tana HaChalishas Adas. He was davening, Hashem didn't answer him. Chalishas Adas. Because of the Chalishas Adas, boom, he started getting rain and everything. Chalishas Adas is great, but we don't look for that. We look for a happy life. And the Vardigas are steel. I cannot describe to you how these people responded to the worst tragedies in the human universe. Reb Gershon Lieberman went through 5 years of Nazi Holocaust. What he didn't see, the way they tortured his own, what he didn't see. And how he walked around like the happiest person that ever lived. How did that happen? He was awesome, happy, he was strong, he was powerful. 5 years of Ganem. He walked in his prison clothes in Bergen-Belsen. They said, who, is anybody here? We have a guna problems over here. You take care of that. He says, no, I don't do that stuff. I build yeshivas. You want to help me out? They found a building, and he told me himself, he said, anybody want to eat? You got to learn. He got a whole yeshiva together. But after a while, they decided It's not worth it. Rather not eat. He started losing half his customers. Started not. He said, what? A joint, he gave him food, whatever. But his life was a different world. He lived for the Eibishter. Happiest people are those that live for the Eibishter. Now, we're going to work on that. What can we do except for work? My not so humble opinion is every single frum Jew in our generation is Kodesh Kodashim. After I said, when the war went on in Israel, it was getting worse and worse, when I opened up my big mouth and I said, no way, every single Yid is Kodesh Kodashim. The guys that are not from Tiddish. No, sorry, right afterwards there was a ceasefire. I got that seat. That was the Rebbe's Meifus. Okay, I want to take credit for that. I made the ceasefire. By the way, if you daven extra hard that day, I'd like you to get credit too. But I have to do my thing and you'll do yours. But I got credit. I made the ceasefire. Pleasure to see you. So, I made the ceasefire because I told the Yebishter they're all tzaddikim. No, and I'm saying in the stolen Chassidim, there's still a couple of, they had Nisim Guyim. He says, since the Baal Shem HaKudosh, there was never such a nest. There were 10 people on the critical list. First of all, there were 30 kids. 30, 60. They came in, they made a tish in Beitar. In Beitar, they made a tish for Rabbaran Kalina's yahrzeit, I believe. So they made a 4,000 Chassidim with it, and enrolled 30 wheelchairs with 30 guys on crutches, and they'll be all right. That's what they say. They'll all be okay, Be'ezrat Hashem. Nisim Goyim. How many 800 Bachrim were there on the bleachers? They fell. And so many Nisim and Nisim, because the Eibishter loves the Kalina Chassidim. They're the best Chassidim in the world. I paskin. That's because, and the Rebbes are tzaddik, there's nothing like them. They're so good people, they're such heilige people. The more I say nice things about the Kalina Chassidim, the more the situation is improving. And the more I care about other Jews, the more Hashem cares for me. I have Negias. If I care for others, Hashem cares. What's wrong with it? My Rebbe once told me this. Make a business. Have Negias. So what? Have Negias. I'm going to thank you, Hashem. Now I'm expecting. Someone says not to do that. What do you mean? You're thanking only because you want to get something. But shine, if you do it, so you do it. As long as you're thanking. Anyway, so I want to say nice things about holy Jews. So 6 of them had miraculous. One of them they said since Baal Shem HaKudosh, from Baal Shem to me. I was probably behind that, Meifus. I want to take credit for that one. I had in mind, I gave my olam. We stuck up for the Kalina Chassidim. They're the best people in the world. You know, the Gera, one of the Geras said, they're good because the Geras are good. They're cuts. The most similar to the Bardig is Ger. They get along great. Reb Gershon told me this. They're very good because, whatever it is. They're similar in other, they're plenty similar to Lakewood. They learn a lot, these Nobhardicas. Anyway. But, so what happened? So what were we saying? Gereba, yeah. They said, those were killed. I heard my Shveh, the Hungarians get together. They're very close. They are the sweetest people. Hold that, open that door. I want my wife to hear this one. Is the door open? I want my wife to hear what I'm saying about the Hungarian people. They produced my wife. That was the best thing they ever did, was produce my. Can somebody please open? I want my wife to hear it. If somebody taping that, and send it up. Anyway, so the Hungarian Jews are the warmest, sweetest, most beloved people in the universe. I'd like to make some fun of them now that I said something nice. Now let's have some fun. I'm joking. Anyway, I'm joking. Chas v'shalom. The Satmar Rebbe used to make jokes about different. I know a story. Rabaran wasn't not such a joker, I was told, but he also could say a thing here and there. 100%. They kid around. They don't mean bad. They're allowed to do it. Us guys, I'm not so sure. Don't make no jokes. You might mean it. You're making jokes of see them or Hungarians, watch out. You might be... So, you meant that? Anyway, but the Hungarians, they get together. They're so close to each other. In Los Angeles, they got together, Cholamoid Pesach. That's when they got out of the Russians came and the Nazi, it was over. The war was over. They were freed from the concentration camp. So all one lady, holy Jews, those Hungarians. And my shver. So one of these ladies remarked, should I imitate the Hungarians? I'm the only one left from the whole family, just me. So my shver says, oh, that's so nice. So what do you think you are? Like you're the Gunsa, you are the pride of the family. You want to know the truth? Hitler took the best. He left over. He didn't say that. But he said he had a brother. My shver had a brother. He said, my brother was better than me. And Hitler took him. He took the best people, Hitler. So don't go around saying, I'm the only one left from the whole family. So therefore what? Therefore, you think you're looking down at everybody else. The Geras are into that. The Geras, and he started crying, my shver. I was a holy Jew. So, anyway, the Geras, they say, oh, you're the guy that they didn't kill. The guy that they killed was probably the tzaddik. So they never got to leave over. Because people have a tendency to look down. The Perlier speaks about it. You got to watch out with that stuff. You don't look down at nobody. You don't know what's going on at all. Don't you dare. Well, it's a punishment. Ooh, you serious? It's a punishment. It's a punishment. Anyway, you have to be very careful with these. Yitzhahara is on your case. And don't do it to yourself either. Don't. You know how many people have told me on the phone, Rabbi Mendel? I know. It's all my fault. Hashem is punishing me. You know what this happened just recently? Unbelievable. This guy gets on the phone and he describes they're afraid they're having a lot of tzaras. And they're blaming it on the way they deal with business. It's unbelievable. And the guy's blaming himself because in business, I'm not so straight. And I heard the way the guy talked. He's a real Elach Yid. So his wife is on the other end. I says, lady, is this guy honest? She said, this guy doesn't know how to tell a lie. He's out of it. That's the whole problem. He's a straight border. I saw it. He's Elach, and he's afraid, maybe in business. That's why Hashem is punishing me. People are so self-critical. They're overboard. You're not allowed to do none of that stuff. Don't get near it. You are gewaldig, and I paskin like that. I'm going to start shepherding now. Get ready, the calm before the storm. I'm going to get mean now. Have to be interesting, Abyssal. Especially a guy like me has got a lot of pressure to be interesting or to make good jokes, because I'm not going to ever, Be'ez Hashem, tell over the horrific stories that I hear every single day. Not one. My wife never hears nothing. Come on, once. And I've got such gooky, when people love this stuff, I could make a fortune if I'd write. When I'd write all the tzaras going on in this world, all kinds of tzaras. There's always something new. I'll tell you one thing I will mention. I'm not going to say what happened. It's just not. Somebody took the vaccine. And something happened. It was the worst. Just kedai to know. I'm not going to go on a campaign against the vaccine. I don't do that stuff. But I'm just mentioning those they're saying, and so I say, when you get a refuah, make sure it's going to be a refuah, not a makkah. We got a daven. You look at the guy, I say, The most horrific story I ever heard about anything, of anybody, was the person who took the vaccine. What happened to that person? The reaction was a shrek shenkamoy. And I'm not going to repeat what happened. They asked me for a bracha. It was, I can't describe it. Anyway, so I won't. So I can't be interesting. So I have to be interesting somehow. And I'm going to say something. Now, first of all, I have a lot of, my nerves are skyrocketing. I had a kid on a ventilator a month ago. They gave me a check. The family gave me $100 check. What? That was it? That was you?
I gave you the check.
That was you? You want to tell the story? Because I'm not sure what happened exactly. He was on something.
What did he say?
He was born and he couldn't breathe. His lungs weren't working.
His lungs weren't working, right?
So his lung was just functions.
Right.
And after a week, finally called up the Rebbe.
Right.
Gave a bracha. And the next day they took him off. It's called the ECMO.
ECMO, right.
He was still on a ventilator, and a week later took him off the ventilator. And he came home last week.
And that's my latest Mifus. So that's the one that, so, and that's a nice family. They left me $100 check too on the bubby. Anyway, so that's, everybody heard the Mifus. So now that, I'll tell you another Mifus. Listen to this. This is not shaykh. This guy gets a hold of me and he's mamish going crazy. This happened 10 years ago. And he comes over to me. Rabbi Mendel, I'm dying. What's the matter? And he described the symptoms, like he was vomiting and all different. And he says he read the book. He read the book that says that he knows exactly what he has. He has the name. He's very, smart cookie, and he knows what it is, and it's progressively worse. And he talks to his wife. His wife wants nothing to do with him because all he talks about is when should we have scheduled the Levaya? That's what he talks about. He talks about what the Levaya is going to be and who should we invite, who's going to be the Maspidim over here, what are they going to say? I was kidding around. But he was definitely discussing funeral arrangements. That's clear. That's the truth. Wow. There must be them. That I made up. Anyway, what are they going to say about me? By the way, my Levaya, Rabbi say, while we're talking, by the time they have some shut, I'll be around a long time, Be'ezer Hashem. I would appreciate if anybody has any problems what to say, I'll give you a whole bunch of stuff. What to say, how great I was. Anybody needs material, to make it easy. I want to do a chesed for all the Maspidim. I'll give them loads of stuff, how great I am. You don't even know how big I am. So I'll give out all as much as they want. I'll get all the potential Maspidim. But on my grave, first of all, I said, what? What? What do you mean? Oh, dreams.
Yeah.
Dreams of my Levaya. Yeah, my Levaya was murdered. My Levaya. You're not going to meet. The whole world came to my Levaya. Everybody was crying their heads off. Even though I said, don't cry. It's a happy day. Anyway. But how could they manage without me? Such a tzaddik like me. Such a tzaddik. Like me. Where do you find a tzaddik like Yehуда Mendel? Where can you find? There's no one like me. I want to tell you, my Olam. The Vilna Gaon says, Yalu Chazar. Other people should praise you. V'loi picha. Not you. Let them praise you. It's like the Vilna Gaon. That's Mishlei. So Yalu Chazar. V'loi, if they're not praising you, picha. You praise yourself. So I kind of like this. My Chassidus is able to learn much more than any other Chassidus in the world. I'll tell you why. Because all Chassidim, part of their curriculum is you got to go to Tish, and you got to drink l'chaim together, Shevasachim. Chassidim have a whole, you have to get together and have fun. See this, the Rebbe makes a chassan and everybody got to be there. See this has there's a lot of things going on. I see them. One of the things that goes on is they praise the Rebbe. They're always talking about how great our Rebbe is. You know what our Rebbe does? Our Rebbe is this, our Rebbe. So that, look at this. They walk right away. They don't know how to stop. I don't know how to do it. It's like, nice guys, by the way. So anyway, so the Rebbe, so what? Now, my Chassidus will not have any, you don't have to discuss the greatness of the Rebbe. I got to save you a lot of time. I take care of that. I'm already mitzi everybody. I say how great I am. I'm going to talk about myself day and night, so you can sit and learn. So it's good to join Chassidus. You have to learn much more. You have to talk how great the Rebbe is. I take it. That's my thing. That's the way I work. I saw a letter recently. They wrote about a tzaddik amiti, about a story about somebody. I related to that. I felt, tzaddik amiti, the real tzaddik. That's me. I'm very special, if I say that's the truth. All kidding aside, I'm very special. I don't mean it out to myself. I mean it out to cover that Torah. Cover that Torah, the Welt has to know who I am. Cover that Torah, everybody should know. What the Torah is zeicha to me. Wow. The Torah is zeicha to me. Is that something? Anyway, where am I up to? Who? The mic is not the Leviah.
The guy who's talking about his Leviah. He's talking about Leviah.
Right.
That was very sick.
Oh, this guy. Oh, yes. Oh, boy. Now he's talking about Leviah. This is serious. He told me this himself. Well, within 2 months, because he had it all figured out. He had read up on his condition. And he knew. And everything was happening as planned. Now, it got worse. Now, the next twist is now you can't do this anymore. Now you can't do that. And slowly but surely you're dead. He had it all figured out. I promise you, this is a true story. He told me his wife had to listen to all of this. She's, whatever, how she reacted to this. Anyway, and he's talking, well, it's okay, you can marry someone else. Whatever he told her, it was lebedik. And the kids, who's going to take care of the kids? Or this kid will be okay. He was in a different way. He told this to me. He says, listen to me. What do you want from me? And the guy was showing, as he was talking to me, he started coughing violently. He had the symptoms were all over the place. I says, tell me, do you want me to sympathize with you and validate your problem? Or do you want me to pull you out of this? He says, no, I want you to pull me out of this. I says, I feel for you. It's very painful what you're going through. But if you want me to pull you out of this, I'm going to be a little nasty to you. Are you masking? He says, yeah, I don't care. You sure? Okay, here goes. You're a toita meshuggah. There's nothing wrong with you. You're off your rocker. I never saw such a nutcase in my life. What are you talking about? Divya, you made this up. This is all, So who told you to read that stuff? What did you read that? So you read all of the Mishagas. Don't get near that. Now, this is true. I had a zach that Hashem Yerachim. I know a little bit about it. One of the real Nisa diseases. And the doctor told me, in all probability, a few doctors told me, you got it. But he forbade me to read material on it. You read material on it. If you read this, you'll see what you're in for. This is just the beginning stages. Shem Yerachim. So you know what I did? I went over to the doctor. I went to the biggest doctor. And I says, Doc, what's the best way? If I were my own brain, could I cure it? He says, 1,000,000%. This guy's an this doctor. He's a modern guy, very nice fellow. He's the number one man of that disease in the whole state. I went to him. I said, he was giving me steroids. Each one costed me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. He didn't want to tell me how much. And he just had some in the office, the pills that I would need. With steroids, with this, with that. I says, Doc, myself, with Bטחון, would that be the best way to go? He says, 1,000,000%. I was like, okay, that's enough. I walked out of the office. A month later, I was cured. I have no zecher of it. And it was on the test. I had it. Les Mandapoli. The local doctor in Lakewood tried to be positive with me, but it didn't. He had to be murdered. No, it's Yataka have it, whatever. So but in a month, it was gone. I talked myself out of it. Simon said, don't bother me. You're looking for trouble, Mendel. I know you since you're a kid. You love to have something to kvetch about. I'm serious. That's what I mamish did that. I mamish believed it. And you go, what you're looking for, Danish can come. You keep saying it, your body listens, and you dive into the Tatin Shemayim, and you're cured. Very brilliant. So I told this guy, you're out of your mind. And you stop this carrying on. It's l'adam. And usually when I speak to people, I'm very powerful. And as I talk, you feel better every single time. They say, I already feel better. I said, that's part one. And you keep talking to me, I'll be finished with you. I once spoke to somebody for 4 hours, a mental case, a serious bipolar that the whole family had to report to the Lakewood psychiatric ward. I spent 4 hours brainwashing this person. There's nothing wrong with you. And I asked the people in charge, does anyone ever get out of this place? There was 9 police cars. This person called me up. Rabbi Mendel saved my life. 9 cop cars because the family tried to destroy a member who was taking knives and doing it. It was a pachanayah. And my Rebbe, I went on whatever my Rebbe said I should do, I did. And I spent, it was there at Fishbov. I spent 4 hours brainwashing, you are well. I spent 4 hours. Now I asked the nurses involved, does anybody ever get out of it? Never. It's not. Once you're here, if they got you here, there's a reason and it's over. I said, all right, we'll see about that. 36 hours later, they were discharged, and Adayim, they're not sure about the bipolar anymore. Because I brainwashed this person, you don't have bipolar. You're a great person. I went with self-esteem, my whole drasha. I spent 4 hours. And the bטחון, and how you're getting out of here. Anyway, okay, if you keep it up. So this guy, I tried, but this guy's a tough customer. He says, at the end of the conversation, he took me for a ride somewhere on the way. I said, we can talk then. I was schmoozing him, yelling at him, you have nothing. At the end of the conversation, he tells me, I says, you feel better? He says, worse than ever. And the next day, he gives me a call. I says, how you better now? I was davening, of course. Worse and worse and worse. I tell him, you got the wrong guy. I don't stop. Anybody gets in touch with me, I'm not going to let him go so fast. You are cured, and the Danish can cup, and you're not impressing me. I don't care what you say. It's all you talked it into yourself. Who tells you to read the book? You read the book, you start imagining, whatever you imagine comes true. Stop a mess, stop. You know too much. You know all this. The Chacham for the Manashtana try to make such fun of him. Because what he'd be so smart for, you'd be a Tom, you'd be... But I haven't. I read all about it. He came to me 3 days later. He went to the doctor. He is totally cured. The doctor found a klinikite, and he admitted to me, it's over. What happened? Now, either one or two things. Either he had nothing, or my positivism turned it into nothing. That has happened many times. Suddenly, it's a whole different thing. Suddenly this, suddenly that. It's all in the cup. You can take it, see your Rebbe, a lot of stories. Rebbe says, take a retest. When they take a test by me, they're going to take another test. I say, between this test and the next, harvan bטחון, and watch, it's going to disappear. Happens all the time. Anyway, that's one of my latest mipsim. Had another one. It's kedai to tell over there. I promised this guy 4 years ago. His son was wrecking his house. His son, the whole family, used to come to the house. The family was terrorized by this 14-year-old teenager who used to come home. He was dangerous. They wanted to arrest him. Whenever he came to the house, the kids were traumatized. They needed therapy because this 14-year-old monster was destroying the father, the mother, and the whole family, killing them all. He calls up Mendel. Mendel tells him he's going to be just the opposite. 4 years later, he calls me up. That boy, remember him? He is the sweetest masmid. They love him when he's not home. The family misses him, but he's such a masmid. When he walks in the house, it's vet lichtig. How did that happen? Bטחון. You can do the same thing. Then I know he's going to get better. Baloney. I take my chances, and it always works. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit nasty. There's going to be a meeting this Tuesday. And where's our Stiebel? Where is the Novandig Stiebel? It's Amuna Yisrael. Where is that? What? 18 East 8th Street, this Tuesday, 10:30. We're going to get together and discuss Kiruv V'Chaykim. I was finally, the day I asked, I says, Eibishter, I want someone to come over to me with money. I asked for money. I had a reason, although usually you don't do that. The money comes. I had a reason. I want money. Who's going to help me get things moving? It's time to build Kiryat Novandig. We're going to start turning over the world. We're going into Kiruv. Now, if anybody wants to come, you're invited to come this Tuesday. Now I'm going to tell you something about Kiruv. Whatever it is, I want you to know that what happened in Eretz Yisrael is a little bit, you know that Elul is coming. And by us, Novandig Elul is the most exciting time of the year. It's the most delicious experience. Doing tshuva is so pleasant. Rabbi Yitzchak used to scream about that a lot. Doing tshuva is geschmack. The Welt is so often. They think, Reb Nosson used to say, they think tshuva is a bear. Do what you can. Just make a record. I like to write. Okay, I do this. Let's try that. Let's try this. It's psychological. It does so much for you. Just write down all your chesronos. Write down all the possible solutions. And don't make too many kabbalas. Just keep working on it. The Eibush will do the rest. You'll become a new person. You don't become a ganzer new, but you're trying. It's all and then daven and to find. The main tshuva in my books is you didn't thank enough. Not enough besimcha. You didn't have enough ice cream. 2 years ago, the official tshuva of my olam was, the olam has not eaten enough ice cream. And I met people 3 years later who I never met in my life. They live in Israel, live here. Mendel, because of you want to see my freezer stacked with ice cream. I brainwashed everybody. You got a tshuva, you got to be more happy. The tshuva is more simple. All right, whatever we're going to do with our tshuva. Reb Nosson's tshuva was, the last years, he says he's afraid they'll never let him out of Gehenna because he didn't build a kollel in every single city that Jews live. And his style was not to do kiruv dafka. His style was to build a yeshiva. They'll come to you. You used to learn with them a little at night. It wasn't like so heavy, but you had to move out of Lakewood. That was a shita. I never listened. He tried to get me out. Reb Shneur tried to get me out. The Jacobs tried to get me out. They were talking to the wall. Who did go out? Yechidim. It wasn't the thing. Who goes out? I don't want to say anything bad about anybody who doesn't go out. I think they're all tzadikei hador. There's nothing wrong with them. Before I say another word, I paskin. The entire dar is kshedim. I want to be ma'od of something. Now, when I heard about what happened in the Lag BaOmer, happened in Stalin, what happened, the rockets flying, suddenly people getting killed, people in hospitals, and this doesn't work anymore, this bone is already not, that's that, and the horrors of the tortures of physical pain. I once had a boy who was in my class way back, a sweetie, I loved him to pieces, so just this guy. He was in 8th grade already, I'm a 4th grade Rebbe. He fell off a bike, and he messed up his pancreas. And I visited him in the hospital, and this was him. That's what, and with all the painkillers, it was a sheck. It ate me up. I couldn't deal with it. I got together $1 million. I remember it was a Friday. I got together $1 million, and he's getting an operation on Friday. Thursday night, I get that $1 million. I get that $1 million. I scream my head off. I says, Eibishter, I want that boy well. And when I wasn't shaykh. I did a couple of pratim, recovered the union, bavaza yourself a little bit, doesn't hurt. And the next day, nisim gluim, they were petrified of that operation because a pancreas is not a simple matzav. You don't just patch up a pancreas. It's slippery, Joe. I don't know the type of aver, and his condition. Just getting to it could kill the kid. It was nisim gluim because I had tremendous pain for the kid, and I said, we must do something. It's killing me. Then once my Rebbitzin had Yana Machla, Rebbe's wife, I went berserk. We got $1 million together Thursday night. I used to do this regularly. $1 million Thursday night. I have a whole system that's very powerful. You do it a certain time, a certain way you do it, and you have nisim. And she had nisim. But I was in a lot of pain because of her matzav. When someone's in physical pain, it's brother, one of the guys, his wife had Yana Maisa, and he told me privately that the 10 people came for one thing. He said he had his wife in mind. She had a total turnaround the next day. One time I got together for 2 different issues, and where Stalin is that same place where Stalin used to be, Unas Yisrael. I got 30 Angelite, 15 for each issue. Somebody was going to leave my school and was not good for it. Whatever, was a whole... And then the other thing, a friend of mine's father was very sick. I got 30 people together. 2 different issues, we got them together. We stormed the heavens. And then we put down a list. The Bel Yishvei needed a Refuah Shalema, the Tasher Rebbe needed a Refuah Shalema. 10 names. At the end of that hour or 2, he gave the saying. He said, Dan's tell him, I think. The Nisim Guluyim, Rebbe Yishvei had a major improvement. Tasher Rebbe had a major improvement. Everybody got better. I've had a lot of siyata d'shmaya with these things. I don't just say Tillim. I say Tillim with Amuna. This is going to work. I don't just say Tillim. This is going to work. How couldn't it? And we say it with Simcha. We say Tillim with a Simcha. This is working, that's for sure. That's the way you say Tillim with Bטחון. A tefillah of a Baal Bטחון is a total different tefillah. Ramchal speaks about it. With Simcha, no crying. You can cry also. But the main thing is that basically you're b'simcha. I've had nisim, William left and right. Anyway, for sick people, if a person never put on tefillin in his life, or Shabbos, or Yom Tov, and he's Jewish, you have any idea what kind of pain his neshama is going through? Do you know what Gehenna he's going through right here? And he's going through Gehenna anyway, because people who are not religious today, it's a hard life. You know what's going to happen to him in the next world? Now, I spoke to the biggest Talmidim of Rabban, the biggest of the big, the mayor, the best, but the biggest. They were screaming at me. You need Haskama for this? Pekuach Nefesh. These people's lives. Zika, Rabin, Kirib. I'm into Kirib. I'm not into Kirib. I want to tell you, I once read an article during the Nazi Holocaust. It was a guilt. It was sort of like a sort of Snatzlitz. Somebody wrote, there was some tired Yidden there, these young Aguda Americans. My father, Mike Tress. I don't know if you heard of these people, Gershon Kranzler. They were the local, that's all Klal Yisrael had, those few yeshiva bochum. And they were working, they say, Gedolei Yisrael were in cars on Shabbos, because that's all, they had to save Klal Yisrael. The biggest Gedolim. They found they were Mechal Shabbos, they were screaming, they were going with sugar. Yidna being tortured by Nazis every second. How can you sit still? The urgency, and this guy wrote, I think it was in Jewish Observer, Those days, that's all we had, Jewish Observer. Today, it's not around anymore. Today, we have other magazines, but it was very chashuv zach, Jewish Observer. And this guy wrote how he felt guilty that we didn't do enough. How it ate him up alive. But remember, we fought to this, and we fought to that. The whole article was it was tear-drenched. Yidden are being killed by Nazis, and you're sitting and eating sugar-frosted flakes. You know, they felt so guilty. And these were the best people we had who went all out for these things. And they felt, you look back, you know, where were you when people were Nebuch? Well, I'm studying and learning. Maybe learning's helping. Rabbi Kotler was flying all over the world, and he was cheppering, "Oh, G'day Yisrael, why aren't you doing anything?" When Yidden were dying. What do you mean? I'm not saying Shita Sahina Heh. I know Rabbi for sure was going wild. And all the G'day Yisrael was not Shaykh. Where were you? What were you doing? You just said, well, he's doing it. We don't have to do it. Okay. Why am I saying this? We're dealing with a Churban Nida. And the matzav that's going on by Klal Yisrael's nerve. We would compare a gashmiistic of pain you relate to. Ruchnius we don't relate to. We don't chop what's going on with us. Rachmanis! Every Jew that doesn't have a Shabbos. What Rachman is the suffering of his neshama. He never tasted a pear of tefillin. Or once, a Lubavitcher got a hold of him. He put one time. He's in the garbage. What's going to happen in the next world? You know, the Welt says, Einis Rachman Patri. Abekei Achsonis isn't it? You got to be Pata. Who knows where they're heading? It's such a Rachmanis. Thousands of Jewish neshamas. I've heard this from Baron's biggest Talmidim. They were screaming at me, of course, do anything you can. Therefore, whoever comes to that meeting on Tuesday, 18 East 8, after Meyer, after 10:30ish, you come there, the Abish is going to remember that. At least you show some caring. I have experience. I once was invited. I'm so machship. What I just said now, to me, is not a joke. I don't care what happens. I just said something. I showed an interest. In Shemaim, they're going wild. Somebody cares. Whoever's listening to this, somebody cares. You know what that does to you? It puts you right away together with Mordechai, with Moshe Rabbeinu, with the leaders. The leaders are those who care. That made you a leader. You cared for Klal Yisrael. You showed an interest. So the schus, I'll tell you what happened to me once. There was a whole tumult about making new, they're going to make new wedding halls in Lakewood. And there was supposed to be luxury types of stuff. And it would have upgraded, would have caused problems. So I spoke to big people in Yerushalayim. They said, I got to do something about it. And I didn't do much. I made 2-3 phone calls, and that was the end. But I showed an interest, and I walked around, and I tumbled, and I asked Shilas, what should I do? What could I do? Why do I want to do it? That week, I read the Ated. There were 2 new wedding halls opened up in Yerushalayim that were specifically low-key to save people money. That week, the week that I saw right away. If I'm talking about helping Jews are being helped as I talk. Doesn't mean I should stop, but it's gewaltige chivas. Everybody's helping. And by the way, I want to repeat. So nobody knows. Rashkiach said about himself, he's afraid he'll never get out of Gehenna. You're afraid for Yom Adin? I checked this again and again. You know what Yom Adin's all about? What do you do for Klal Yisrael? How about, you didn't daven a half hour a day and cry your heart out for Klal Yisrael? Why am I into this? I speak to, I count, yesterday I probably spoke to 50 people in one day. I'm talking about Thursday, not Friday. Must have had 50 phone calls. They call me up from all over the world. There's no suffix. I must have spoken to 5,000, 10,000 people just in the list or whatever. At least 50% of those people, if they would be involved, if they'd be out some shliach out in Yehuppitz, helping Jews, say goodbye to your self-esteem problems, bye to your shalom bayis problems, By the problem with kids, Rab Aaron gave a bracha, your kids will be fine. You're going to be a different person, a different mazel. When everyone's running over to you and asking you for eitzes, and they need you, and till now, everybody knows how to learn more than me. Now, you're the God Lador in this Yopit's place over there. You know what it does psychologically for a person? These people don't, but people are afraid that they can't do it because they're not fit. Look, I'm one of them. Who am I? And make a jump. Who does these things? So they don't do it. They become molasses, like Mendel or Rabbinus used to say. You turn into molasses, and you sit till 120 years. You come to the next one. Now, like Rabbi said, please be beichel me. I don't mean what I'm saying. I'm just saying it to be when you come to the next world. The Vilna Gaon says, they're going to ask you, they're going to show you movies of some gewaldige chashav yid. And they're going to say, who's that? They say, that's what you could have become and didn't. And it's going to be far more painful watching that than the whole Gehenna. What you could have been and it never happened. So why don't people become? Because they put themselves down 24/7. That's why I'm so into self-esteem like crazy until you're not afraid of the world. People don't go out because they're scared of the world. They think they're not right. I knew two people who were super quiet. They're still on Nevesem. Very quiet, reserved guys. And they turned over worlds. Because it goes. Neich Weinberg told me, what? I was the quietest guy that ever lived. And Neich Weinberg said, you don't believe in Hashem. It's Hashem doing it. It's not you. So anyway, whoever's not going out, mutolach, mutolach, mutolach. Don't listen to me. But I'm not getting involved either way. I just want to be ma'id or something. I want to at least say mine. I don't want to be makach again. Any Jew, because I did not go out, I'm going to start saying you guys are no good. It's fine. It's fine. But I still want, I said my thing. You never know what will come of it. Thank you for coming. Pleasure to see you.